Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Today we're going to be talking about solving one-step equations, the addition and subtraction addition. So there are some terms that I'd like to talk about. One thing is called the idea of the equation. So if I have an equation, it means simply two expressions that are equivalent, okay, or the same value. And so if I have something like 3 plus 5, in order for it to be an equation, it must equal 8, because 3 plus 5 is 8, so 8 equals 8. Both sides are equal, okay? So when we're thinking about one-step equations, an example of that would be x plus 5 equals 9. This side must be equal to this side. And in order for that to happen, x must be a particular value. Our goal is to figure out what x is, and we're going to talk about a strategy to do that. An inverse operation is the opposite operation. We're going to talk about that as well. And so if I'm thinking about an opposite operation to addition, that would be subtraction. Multiplication, its opposite is division. We're going to be focusing on these guys right now. So with that, we're going to take a look at one-step equations. I want you to think about equations, because they're both equivalent, I want you to think about it as like a balance. In order for you to measure the mass of one thing, you must put grams or the same amount on the other so that they are balanced. So if I take away some things from one side, I must take away the same amount from the other, or else it will not be balanced. One side will be heavier than the other. And so we're going to take a look at that and how it relates to math. And so I have the equation here, x plus 3 equals 8. Okay, I want you to write this down and have this available for you to work on. So I'm going to draw a diagram of this. I have 1x and I have 3 units. This is equal to 8 units. Alright, so we see this amount must be equal to this amount. So we're going to look at, in order to get what x is, I need to get it so that I just have on this side x. And so to do that, I need to take away these units. And what you're going to see is, in order for me to take away what was once added, I need to subtract it. And if I do that to one side, look at what happens over here. I must also take it from the other side, or else we talked about one side would be heavier than the other. So what we do to one side, we must also do to the other. So now let's take a look. We took away 3, you saw it fall, and now we have x equals 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So x equals 5. Correct. And so let's take a look. Let's see if that makes sense. If I put 5 in for x and evaluate, do I get 8? 5 plus 3 equals 8. 8 equals 8. So there we go. We talked about inverse operations. So what we're doing is we're adding 3 to x to get 8. What this could look like is something like this. The sum of x and 3 is 8. That's usually how it can be written. But a story problem could look like this. Billy had 1 box of X apples. We see that with X. Then he found 3 more in the apple tree. He now has 8 apples. How many were in the box when he started picking? So, we have 1 box and we have 3 more apples. That means we have 8 total apples in that total there. So, in order for me to get x by itself, I need to do the inverse. Our skill is to get x by itself so that we can figure out what x is. So if I'm adding 3 to x, I'm going to subtract 3. Boom, boom, boom. Now if I do that to this side, right now we're unbalanced, so I must take away 3 from the other. Boom, boom, boom. And now I'm left with x equals, let's count how many we have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. X equals 5. So our skill is this. Use inverse operations to get x by itself. Let's take a look at another example. Here we have 2 away from x is 5. or the difference of that, is 5. So, Billy had 1 box of apples. Then he got hungry. Billy. He ate 2 apples out of the box. When he got home, he had only 5. How many did he have in the box to begin with? So, we need to look at what's happening to x. I have x, and I took away 2 from that value. I'm left with 5. So, in order to figure out what x originally was, I need to undo that negative 2. And so that means I need to do the opposite. And so instead of subtracting 2, I'm going to add 2. So I end up revoking that, and I get those 2 back. And so now if I did that here, I'm going to add 2 to this side. Boom, boom. So we count x equals, these cancel each other out. Boom, boom. Negative 2 plus 2. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. X equals 7. Okay? And so our skill, use inverse operations to get x by itself to find out what its value is.